Hey, this is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. James Harden dropped 61 last night at Madison Square Garden in Houston's 114-110 victory over the Knicks. It's now 21 games in a row for Harden with 30-plus points. He looks to extend that streak tomorrow in Toronto. There was a scary moment last night in the Pacers' 110-106 win over the Raptors. Victor Oladipo collided with Pascal Siakam, and that resulted in Oladipo being taken off the floor on a stretcher with what the Pacers are calling a serious injury to his right knee. He'll have an MRI later today. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that Indiana fears Oladipo will be gone for the remainder of the season. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Celtics were all over the Cavs, 123-103. The Nets snuck past the Magic, 114-110. The Clippers were all over the Heat, 111-99. In Philly, the 76ers just outlasted the Spurs, 122-120. There's a wild game in Utah. It resulted in a 114-108 win for the Jazz over the Nuggets. It is 7:02. It's time to get your tickets for the annual Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame induction celebration Saturday, January 26th at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Go to sacsportshof.com. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's the drive featuring the lowdown. We're so happy you're here with us. Damien Barling along with Jason Ross. Of course, you just heard Kyle Madsen there. If you want to watch the show, you can. Head over to KHTK.com. If you want to check out the third and final hour when you get to the office, or you're just waking up, rolling out of bed, got to do some work on the computer, head over to KHTK.com and watch us for a while. Of course, you can listen on the KHTK app on 11:40 a.m. in Northern California or anywhere in the world on said mentioned KHTK.com. Kyle Madsen just gave you a rundown of everything that went on in the NBA last night. James Harden, historic streak of scoring, continues as he goes for 61 at Madison Square Garden last night in a game the Rockets just squeaked away with. Victor Oladipo likely out for the season, a brutal loss for both the NBA and a just devastating loss for the right now third seed Indiana Pacers, one of the stories that just hasn't been told enough right now. The Pacers, if you don't understand why I'm using the word devastating when it comes to the Indiana Pacers, they are 25-11 when Oladipo plays this season. They're 7-4 when he doesn't. Last year, they were 0-7 when Victor Oladipo didn't play.
Yeah.
So there's some issues when he's not out there on the floor for them.
Well, he's their best player, and he had a terrific postseason in that 7-game series against the Cavs in the first round. Didn't make it through, but he was amazing. And he's been – remember that thought at the beginning was they didn't get enough for Paul George. That's one now that's worked out great for both teams. Paul George stayed. He's awesome. Oladipo and Sabonis, they've been really good for the Pacers.
We're going to spend a lot of time talking about the NBA today as we'll get back to James Harden and the ridiculousness of his numbers here. The All-Star starters, easy for me to say, will be named tonight. Victor Oladipo deserved to be an All-Star starter. Whether he's going to be named one tonight, I don't know how that's going to work. Do they call an audible on the spot, or do they name him as an All-Star starter and then replace him later?
Yeah, that's what they would do, but I don't know if he'll make it as a starter or not, but we'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, well, maybe it will. Yeah, we'll see. But we'll discuss who. So we're not trying to predict who the All-Star starters are.
No, we're picking our five.
We're trying to decide who deserves to be an All-Star starter. So we'll do that. Sam Amick will join us at 8 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the Kings, on All-Star starters, when LeBron James is going to return, DeMarcus Cousins returning to the Golden State Warriors. We got all of that coming up here as the day rolls along. Of course, we've got your next opportunity to be a part of the Big Game Dream Party presented by Mel Rapton Honda coming up at 8:40. You'll hear your next and one of your final keywords coming up at 8:40. It's time to hang by the fire pits with your crew at Folsom's Winter Brewfest this Saturday. Details at tapfolsom.com. The Facebook question of the day over on the Lowdown Facebook page: should the Kings be buyers or sellers in this trade market? Jason, let's start with you. What do you think the Sacramento Kings should do? As the trade market seemingly, February 7th is the day, so we're a few weeks away, but we're starting to hear there's lots of chatter going on around the league.
My answer, I know you need to pick one, but I say both. And the reason I say both is I think they can do both. I think they need to look at some of their expirings, and I don't think there's a huge market for some of the guys that are expiring, whether that's Ben McLemore, whether that's Zach Randolph, Costa Kufis, guys like that. I think to get a true like impact return type of buyer move, you're probably having to move one of the younger core pieces, and I don't know that that's the best decision. So I would be on the seller part there, but I think if you can be a buyer that is a subtle move that still could help, doesn't mortgage any of the future, but could help on any kind of run the rest of the year, and maybe even be another piece that is added on or that stays around for more than, because I think Cantor was mentioned before. Well, he's an expiring. That to me seems like, hey, you're doing that just for now. Well, is that the best? Could you add someone? We mentioned Otto Porter before. Well, he's got a couple years. If you're adding him for now and for later. So if that move is out there, I just don't know what besides having cap space, what kind of stuff the Kings could give up to really lure something of significance.
A couple of responses here on the Lowdown Facebook page. How about this one from Ben? I think we should make a few moves to solidify the bench and save cap for us to go after Tobias Harris.
Okay.
In the offseason. Here's another one. This is from Joseph Garcia on the Lowdown Facebook page. I believe the Kings should sell. Kings are on the rise, and we should clear up as much cap space as possible and go for it big next year. Maybe try to trade something to get into next year's draft.
They're already going to have a ton of space. Now you can always add more, but they've got a lot of space.
Might I ask a quick question, Kyle, before you jump in here? What are they going to do with the space? Because didn't they have
exact question?
Didn't they have a ton of space last year?
Mm-hmm.
And it went to
smaller moves.
Nemanja?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yogi.
Like there's another one here, and I'm not going to say this to embarrass the person. Daniel, a frequent contributor to the show, says, we clear as much space we can get 2 max players next year. Like, wait, what? How?
There's a difference between getting 2 max players and paying 2 players max money.
Well, there's also a difference between having the money to pay 2 max players and actually being able to attract 2 max players. Right. And then you tie in Kyle's line there of attracting 2 max players or paying 2 players max money.
Right.
The names that I keep bringing up when I talk about this is, okay, you're clearing cap space for when you look at the level of free agents the Kings have signed historically, and I know the argument is, well, it's different now. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, people want to play here. People want to play for the Kings. Are you getting Klay Thompson?
Was John Gruden doing that sell?
Right.
Like,
are you getting Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard? Probably not. Mm-hmm. So the next level of free agent you're looking at is like Kent Bazemore, Marcus Morris. Like that's probably the level of guy you're looking at, and you don't want to pay one of those guys max dollars.
I also think, I don't know that we know the answer internally with the organization of what they think. What do they really think Bagley and Giles' positions are? And I know it's positionless, but what do they really think on a night-to-night basis they are lining up as what? And we've heard everything, like Vlade had said before, he thinks Marvin can play the 3. I don't think so right now. I think he has potential to be that. But is that the best thing? Is he a 5? Is he a 4? Which one is Giles? If they feel like they've got an answer to that, I think everybody wants to put a small forward on this team. Mm-hmm. I think almost that's where we land on Otto Porter, pick your name, Wiggins, Harrison Barnes, all the people always mention small forward. But if they think one of those two, well, it'd probably be Marvin more than Harry, is a small forward, then that's the answer. Mm-hmm. If they think that, and I don't know the answer to that, then all of a sudden you're dealing with Willie. Okay, are you keeping him? And now if not, then is it Julius Randle or Cantor or some other big? That's the focus in the offseason because you're moving other guys. Or we could play Bogey there too or Buddy there at times. I think that's a question I don't know that the front office has told us that we need to know, but I wonder what they're thinking about that.
I really liked Julius Randle heading into this season when he was on the market last season. I liked him a lot.
How about this coming one, though? I think he'd be a good fit.
Yeah, I still really like him.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you don't keep Willie. Like,
but that's the thing. Like, you can't get Julius and Willie.
Yeah, and
you know
still
what I mean?
Giles and Bagley.
My feeling on Julius Randle was they're going to draft Luka Doncic, which eliminates Marvin Bagley. So now you can have Julius Randle and Willie Cauley-Stein at the same time.
Right.
You can't lose Marvin Bagley. Obviously, no one wants to lose Harry Giles at this point. So that means Willie's the odd man out if you're bringing in Julius Randle. Again, who I really like, but I'll also say this. be careful what you wish for, because you have complaints about Willie Cauley-Stein. I can tell you this about Willie. I've never seen him out of shape on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that about Julius Randle. Mm-hmm. Now, he's done a fantastic job of getting himself in shape, but does that concern you that a player had to go get himself into shape after he was already in the league? Right. That he had to go get himself into shape when now, in his case, it'll be multiple contract years come up for him.
And I also think, too, on the grander scope of what the organization is doing, at the moment, to me, it sure seems like they believe their main core future players are Fox, probably Bagley, maybe Buddy, Giles, that kind of group. Mm-hmm. All right, so now you're talking about fit, because I think Buddy's not a volume shooter, but he's already established himself now as a 20-point-per-game scorer. I think Bagley's going to be there. Fox has that ability. So do you need that, hey, they need another 20-something? What's the fit? What's the thing that – what are they missing? They always talk about how they're undersized at a lot of positions. So now is there a bigger two-guard, a bigger – three, a more versatile front court player? I think it's the subtleties they'll be looking at.
You know what you need if you're the Sacramento Kings, in my opinion, is you need, I think we've made this reference before, you need Doug.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Like, there was Mike,
do everything,
and then there was Bobby and Chris and Vlade, and you fell in love with Peja, and hell, you even fell in love with Hito. None of it works.
You needed Doug.
Without Doug Christie.
Yeah.
That's the guy you need, and that's not the guy you're going to pay, as Doug will happily tell you, the max contract to. Like, that's,
but could have a huge impact.
You have to go find, like, what team is he on? This is what we need on our roster. It doesn't have to do with dollar value. Mm-hmm. It has to do with what they can do for you. You mentioned Robert Covington. Maybe he's that guy. I just don't think you're going to be able to get him away from Minnesota. We'll continue this conversation. There's a lot more to talk about because there's a lot of names and rumors being floated around the NBA. We'll get to the all-star starters and all of that. If you want to jump in here on the show, you can. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's the Lowdown, in for the drive.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Drive. I'm Cody Baylor from The Lowdown. If you want to give us a follow on social media, you can find myself at Cody Baylor. That's Cody with an I. Jason at JasonRoss1140. Damien at Damien Barling. And Chris at Sac_MCFC. Also, check us out on Facebook and search The Lowdown. Jason and Damien, back to you.
Thank you so much, Cody. If you want to be a part of the show, you can hit us on the Fire Wings hotline. Try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can get us there. It's time to hang by the fire pits with your crew at Folsom's Winter Brewfest this Saturday. Details at tapfolsom.com. I would be terrible in television, because every time Kyle says something in my ear, I pause. Chris does the same thing. Chris has a certain way of speaking to me, though.
Yeah.
Like, Chris knows the way that I like being talked to during a show.
Hey, now.
He does. Nope, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. No, it's
that got me, though.
Just like when you're on TV, producers talk in your ear like the whole time, and you just have to keep talking while being able to hear what they're doing.
Right.
Like, it is sensory overload, and I'm confident, and I've seen it. Like, in TV stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched few people. If watching Trey Wingo work was one of the greatest things that I've ever seen, because he doesn't work off a prompter. He just talks. But he has someone talking to him the entire time he's speaking. Like, okay, we're going to go to this video package of Baker Mayfield next. He's talking. Okay, we've got this sound from Hugh Jackson coming up right after that. And it's absolutely incredible. I got to listen in one time. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I know there's videos and different things. I've heard many stories of it where maybe someone's new, like maybe more of an analyst, and then they'll say something in their ear, and they'll literally go, okay, or yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they'll answer, hey, make sure you bring up the, sure. And it just, wait, what? Sure, what are you talking about? Like, the audience doesn't know, but they're reacting to the voice.
I remember hearing a story. I don't remember if it was either ESPN or WWE. I can't remember which one it was, but they were interviewing someone to host something. And, oh, no, you know what it was? It was the UFC. The very first UFC show, they were interviewing someone to be, like, a host. And I'm talking about UFC 1, when it was, like fighting. Like, I'm going to kill you on pay-per-view stuff. And they say, oh, have you ever done any TV work? Oh, yeah, I've done a bunch of TV work. So they're running through this test, and the producer is talking to him in his ear. And they said every time the producer talked to him, he'd look up in the air.
Where's that coming from?
So he'd look up at the sky while he was listening to him, all while the test shot was rolling on the camera.
That's great.
That's so funny.
It's very tough. Very tough look.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were going to say, I was just trying to chime in. I'm just a peanut gallery back here.
We're really happy that you're here today.
I know,
Kyle.
I know. Hey, you know.
You did a fantastic job yesterday.
Yeah.
Thanks,
by
man.
the way.
That's it.
Boy, but apparently you used it all up yesterday, though. My goodness, you really wore yourself out from 3 to 7. You did, Kyle. Okay,
I'm going home.
Goodbye, Kyle. Try to pay the man a compliment. You did a fantastic job, man.
Thank you.
Your growth in this business has been really incredible. You are you're a gem.
Thanks, man.
You are fantastic at what you do.
Thank you.
On the mic
gem.
and behind the scenes.
I'm a real gem. Thanks.
Or a Kyle.
I'm going to put that on my resume. Damien Barling says I'm a gem.
It's better than Damien Scarfling. That was
pretty good.
It was solid.
I like
I don't know.
That's already on my resume.
Yeah.
Nice.
That I came up with that.
Streak is alive. Alive and
done.
well.
Keep those texts coming here as well on the Jiffy Lube text line at 441140. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we will attempt to decipher who is going to be named to the All-Star teams tonight. Obviously, Luka Doncic is a starter.
Well, last votes, that's part of it. But
Derrick Rose is going to be a
Dwayne
starter
Wade,
in 2019.
I hope not.
Derrick Rose, I think, is deserving of being an All-Star. I see the look on your face. I think he is All-Star worthy.
Okay.
If we're
I'd
rewarding the performance for the first half of the season, I think he's worthy.
Okay. I wouldn't have him in my 12, but he would be a guy I would consider, but no, I would not put him there.
So I'm guessing he's not in your 12. He's not going to be in your 5 either.
Oh, no.
Okay.
He's all 5 of mine.
All 5 Derrick Roses?
Yep.
All
East and West.
Yeah. That's 10 Derrick Roses.
Yeah.
It's going to be Derrick Rose out there running up and down the court.
You get a rose.
You're not going to go for a dozen Derrick Roses here at this point? Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Would you like?
Now's a good time to remind you this segment's brought to you by Fire Wings. Try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings and their new Nashville Fire Chicken Sandwich. Find the location nearest you at firewings.com. That's Fire Wings. Just wing it.
Did we just have role reversal?
I was going to say, did he give you a sigh?
We did.
Do you know how I feel now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the exasperation that came over me, that sigh was involuntary. Like, I realize now that's not a bit. That's just your physical response to my ridiculousness.
And it started in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah.
Right? And it worked its way up to an audible sound.
It's just the hatred escaping through. I see what you're feeling now.
How much fun are you having this week with us? Be honest.
A lot.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time.
Because Dave is having a pity party on social media. So go check on your boy, who his tweet total has got to be well over 200 by now.
Before we started the show, the tweet scoreboard for yesterday was 21.
Wednesday tweets.
Yeah.
Including a plate of food, according to our statisticians.
Yeah, and he commented on Pat and Tom down the hall their Facebook page.
Yeah.
So he's not just tweeting. He's
Facebooking and all over.
On vacation, by the way.
On vacation.
Yeah.
He's reading the text line, too.
Oh, we know that.
So if you would
fire away.
whatever you send, Carmichael Dave is reading, and he's probably going to text Kyle about it at like 9:01.
Yeah.
You're okay, Dave. I promise. You'll be fine. Let's name our all-star starters. Let's do that because I've got a dozen Derrick Roses. Jason's got 10. Kyle only has 5. No one with Luka Doncic. But we'll come back. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. We got Sam Amick coming up at 8 o'clock. We got plenty going on. We got your chance to be a part of the Big Game Dream Party coming up at 8:40. And, of course, if you want to be a part of the show, you can. Herbert, I see you. Hang tight. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140.
Hey, this is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. Make it 21 games in a row for James Harden with 30-plus points. He dropped 61 at Madison Square Garden last night in Houston's 114-110 win over the Knicks. He looks to extend his streak tomorrow in Toronto. Scary moment last night in the Pacers 110-106 win over the Raptors. A collision between Victor Oladipo and Pascal Siakam ended with Victor Oladipo being taken off the floor on a stretcher with what the Pacers are calling a serious knee injury. He'll have an MRI later today. Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that the Pacers fear Oladipo is gone for the season. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Celtics blew out the Cavs 123-103. The Nets snuck past the Magic 114-110. The Clippers were all over the Heat 111-99. In Philly, the 76ers outlasted the Spurs 122-120. And a wild game in Utah resulted in a 114-108 win for the Nuggets over the Jazz. It is 7:31. It's time to get your tickets for the annual Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame induction celebration, Saturday, January 26th at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Go to sacsportshof.com. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Damien Barling and Jason Ross rolling along here on the drive. Normally you can catch us 12 to 3. We're so happy you're here with us. You can watch along at KHTK.com. I'm surprised you don't have your perfect temperature jacket on today. You went short sleeve and everything. It's chilly in the studio.
Short sleeve and untucked.
Yeah, how about and untucked.
Because we learn sometimes.
Yep. You gonna repeat that one, huh?
No. Just sometimes.
Kids are going to school right now, Jason.
Might be a featured element in tomorrow's gimmick.
Oh.
Might be.
Oh, the perfect temperature jacket.
Could be.
I assumed that was a part of the gimmick.
Might be part of it.
Okay. I like it. I'm excited.
But more to come.
Tomorrow, so what we're saying is tomorrow is...
it's our last day in the morning.
It's TGIF. It's must-watch programming tomorrow morning beginning at 6 a.m. Kyle, what gimmick are you going to have tomorrow? I swear to God, dude, forget it.
I'm busy producing a show, man.
What show are you producing?
This one?
Oh. Are you reading through Dave's constant tweeting right now?
No, I'm listening to Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Nice, of course you are, because why not? Sam Amick will be with us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Derek Carr challenging folks to a fight. We'll talk about that in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Cole Beasley had some interesting things to say, probably on his way out of Dallas. We'll bring that to you as well. We'll get back to our Facebook question. As some of you head into the office, first thing you do, obviously, is go to your social media accounts. So go check out the Lowdown Facebook page. If you don't like us there yet, like us. Even if you don't like Facebook, like the Lowdown on Facebook. We do a lot of fun stuff there, including video recaps of the show, exclusive videos, pictures of shoes, pictures of Jason in perfect temperature jackets, and our question of the day goes up each and every single morning as well. The question today, should the Kings be buyers or sellers in the trade market? Again, that is on the Lowdown Facebook page. Herbert, great to hear from you, my brother. What's happening?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, Jason. Hey, Dan.
What up, man?
What's up, man? Hey, I think Jason likes the camera, man.
Oh,
what?
Likes is not the wrong. Likes is the wrong four-letter word that begins with an L. It is love, player. Jason loves the camera.
That's right. Hey, I just wanted to talk about this narrative in Sacramento where free agents and players don't want to come here. I think prior to Weber, or around, when Weber, I think that was true back then, because I remember it was a big deal when Weber got traded and he didn't want to come, and he said, there's nothing to do with Sac. And I think that narrative has held on all this time. I think it's changed, but us as Kings fans haven't really accepted it. But I think players, even since Boogie, I don't think players look at Sacramento like that anymore. I really think players think like, well, maybe I can go there and have a legacy there, or because nobody's really has yet, except Doug and those guys, but they didn't win the big one. So that hurdle has still yet to be cleared here, and I think it's a big it would make somebody want to come here, and I don't think players care about nightlife as much anymore as back in the day. I think it's more now. Can I win? Can I win here?
Mm-hmm. That's great stuff, Herbert. You're right about. I don't think that's a narrative here anymore. And Herbert, we always appreciate you, man. Thank you for the call. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think if there's anything hanging over the franchise, it's the front office. And is the front office stable? Is Vlade stable? If you're a free agent this year, and you really do like what the Kings are doing, you like De'Aaron Fox, you like. Let's say Willie Cauley-Stein is a part of the equation. You love Marvin Bagley. You like what's going on here, and you believe, I think they got something here. But you've got Dave Yeager heading into a lame duck year. And you've got Vlade Divac headed into a lame duck year. And then you have the stories surrounding Brandon Williams and Chris Haynes and The Athletic and all of Yahoo and all of these different things that are going on. Does that make this destination appealing?
Yeah, I think those are all really important elements, as much as the location, the amount of money, all those things. But I would say this, I feel like the organization, the front office part, is more stable, but it's not rock solid, right? So there's not – that's – the questions you just brought up, or the concerns, are exactly what agents or a few others would be thinking. But the advantage they do have, or something that I think they've helped switch and shift – is the way they play. Mm-hmm. And that's spoken. I mean, everybody has now played the Kings, and they've seen it, and they see the style, and they see the age and the young players, and everybody that's played the Kings has been very complimentary of them. So if you're one of those guys in that free agent class that said, yeah, you know what? I like the way they play. I like that. That arena's pretty cool, or I could be cool with that. And the way the record is. So it's not a terrible team with complete dysfunction and kind of a rough style. They've changed some of the narrative on all of that. Not all the way through, but and then the ultimate way is, how does it happen? Money. That's another thing. It's not all foolproof, but that's another option.
I think market matters too, right? I mean, our caller was talking about nightlife and stuff like that. I don't think that matters as much as visibility.
I think guys go out more on the road than they do at home.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. And that had to play some role in Kawhi wanting out of San Antonio, is trying to get to a bigger market. Did it not?
I feel like just a different situation.
He signed with New Balance. Like, it's hard to argue a guy who signs with New Balance
true.
is worried about the market that he's in. And it's just new. Like, and I'm not trying to trash New Balance. I'm just saying, if you named a flashy shoe, is it New Balance? This?
To me, it is.
That's not a New Balance there.
No, it's not.
I mean, who in this room is rocking a New Balance? Oh, you really are? Okay. All right. The least flashy guy here.
247s, bro.
No doubt. No doubt. I know he's going to L.A. or probably going to L.A.
Uh-huh.
But is that about market? I don't know that that's about market for Kawhi Leonard.
Then what is it about?
Maybe he likes L.A.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
He's from L.A.
Yeah, I mean,
California.
I thought that was the obvious part, but
Sure.
But is that
I don't
better?
feel like it's like I've got to get to a big market, because I don't think New York is getting anybody. I don't believe this Kevin Durant stuff or Kyrie or any of that. Nobody's going to New York. I don't believe that at all. They're a mess.
Yeah, I think that's the perception, but it's also the situation, the setup, the chance. Like, Anthony Davis has probably all the money he can in New Orleans, and he's the foundation piece, but people don't think he's staying there. Why? Because I don't think people think they can win the whole thing, and I think that's what he wants, to be in games that are in June. Mm-hmm. So where is that situation? Now, people automatically go, well, that's a big market. I don't know if that's entirely accurate. It hasn't been recently. It's not the Lakers. It hasn't been the Clippers. It certainly hasn't been the Knicks. But not everybody can play for the Warriors right now.
Yeah.
And so, but Kawhi's in a team that should be playing in June this year.
Or could be playing in June. Should is.
Okay. Could. Sure. But, I mean, they've basically been one of the best teams, even the best, with or without him this year.
I feel like when you say should, like, one team should be playing in June right now, and that's the Golden State Warriors.
All right, that's fair.
When we talk about free agents coming to the Kings, I guess I'm just looking at, when you look at the marquee free agents, is Kevin Durant signing here?
Yeah.
Is Kawhi Leonard signing here?
Yeah.
Is Klay Thompson choosing Sacramento over staying in Golden State or going to the Lakers? I mean, it's just as tough for me to kind of envision, and maybe that's because of the last decade and a half or 2 decades or whatever, and things are changing. But right now, there's really no proof that that's the case.
Yeah, there isn't, but I don't think it helps. I don't think the contract status of because you talked about the way the Kings are playing are fun. Great, that was Dave Yeager's idea, right? Or at least that coaching staff's. Mm-hmm. Okay,
they're still gonna be there.
Yeah,
right.
Is he going to be here for more than 1 year?
Yeah.
Are you guys going to get pissy in the middle of next season and fire? Well, we only got a couple months left. Let's get rid of him now.
Right.
Like what is going to be like? If I'm a free agent this year, no matter how much I like Sacramento, I'm looking at I believe what Vlade did was great. Cool. I believe what Dave Yeager is doing is great. Cool. They're under contract for a year, and there's infighting within the organization.
Yeah. Well, and back to the big name free agents here, the ones that they've acquired were here, right? I mean, Chris Webber signed another contract here.
Yeah.
DeMarcus one contract here, was getting ready for a second one. Bibby, Peja, Mitch Richmond. I mean, the history of the greatest players here, they've kept them. So that is coming, not soon, but in a few years with hopefully Marvin, hopefully De'Aaron Fox, whatever they become. But I think, again, it's back to the subtle. Like everybody always goes to the biggest names. Not a lot of teams get those guys. But can you find the fit that all of a sudden vaults this team that's flirting with 500 this year to, wait a minute, those young guys have grown. And that addition of said player, you referenced Doug Christie, even this year, the Belly and Yogi, not amazing signings, but you go, man, that they helped the team in their own sort of way. So can you find that difference maker that while your young guys grow, that was a guy that helped put it all together?
And that's what they don't have right now.
Right.
That one piece, the Doug Christie-like piece who brings it all together. And you mentioned Amani and Yogi. Those are fine signings to go
they're
along
role
with
players,
the team, but they're not that guy.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know who that guy is. And don't look at money as a barometer of who the guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Like Otto Porter, it's got to be Otto Porter's the guy. Like, okay, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me why. I think you need something. There's something else that you need. I thought Shumpert actually did have the chance to be that guy. He just likes to shoot too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and not well enough.
Yeah, right. Given his accuracy in that department, you would like him to do a little less.
Yes.
Particularly when the game is on the line.
For sure.
Which is when he's going for it.
He's thirsty.
Indeed he is. It's time to enjoy unlimited tastings from 40-plus breweries at Folsom's Winter Brewfest. Tickets at tapfolsom.com. Your first keyword of the day to qualify for the Big Game Dream Party presented by Mel Rapton Honda, and a $100 Harris Ranch gift certificate is coming up 1 hour from right now. 8:40, we will have your first keyword of the day and one of your final opportunities as the grand prize will be announced when Dave returns to the morning. The Lowdown returns to the afternoon on Monday. Sam Amick is going to be with us at 8 o'clock. All-star starters will be named tonight during the NBA on TNT broadcast. This was a difficult task to determine who the all-star starters would be, particularly for the Western Conference. I'd like to point out for longtime Lowdown listeners, this is not a draft.
Nope.
We are not drafting all-stars, but we are trying to figure out who the all-star starters would be. So I'll say a name, and Kyle, do you have a list of 5 starters in there? No? Okay. No, that's fine. That's
I do.
Sorry to catch you by surprise with this, Kyle. I really think Kyle just was really good yesterday, 3-7, and thought, man, I nailed it. I'm done for the week. I'm out.
That was his Friday.
He's like, Kyle looks at me and goes, like, I'm not clear with the problem.
Yeah.
I'm not clear.
And again, this is the 5 that we think should be starting, not because the voting was weird. And
can we just pause this for one quick second, because there is a name that I kept bringing up that I wanted to ask, because it's a question that you posed yesterday. Jabari Parker is apparently on the trademark. Right. What happened to that draft class with Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins, where we're looking at them right now? Both of those guys could be moved in this trade deadline.
Right.
And Embiid is going to be the last man standing.
Yeah, and by far the best player.
But not even close. Right. And how did this go so bad for that draft class? Were the expectations too high?
They did get a lot of hype.
Remember, this was the class that was going to change the NBA.
Yeah. And Wiggins to me has been good. It's good. But when you're one and there's expected more and you're traded for Kevin Love on that day like that, you're thought of so highly. And to me, he floats. There's games like, wow, Wiggins scored 32. Other games where he's 14. And 2 rebounds, 1 assist. You don't notice Wiggins all the time. He makes some loud plays, but there's too many times where he's kind of indifferent.
What about Jabari?
And Jabari, I thought, okay, well, Chicago, here's his free agent, is recovering from injury, maybe an opportunity. But then the proclamation that we're benching him and he's really not going to play. He's kind of back in the rotation a little bit now, but still a bench guy. I don't know.
Did Jabari Parker's, was it his second year injury or his first year? He suffered an injury his first or second year. And I look back at that, like, did that really derail where he was going? Did he just not quite get back from that? Another name to just kind of keep an eye on, Rodney Hood, who is still in Cleveland.
Yep.
We know that you haven't seen them, but he's still there. I would keep an eye on a couple of those guys in addition to Enes Kanter, Conley, Gasol, Carmelo Anthony. I'm sure that situation in Chicago is going to work itself out as the trade deadline approaches here on February 7th. Again, Sam Amick coming up at 8 o'clock. We'll talk to him about some of the stuff. Okay, I apologize for that. I wanted to make sure we got that in there because we had mentioned a couple of times. All-star starters for the day. Should we start with the West or the East? I felt like the West was significantly more difficult.
I agree.
Got mine.
You've got yours.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
let's go for the East.
Okay, start with the East.
Yeah.
Anybody in here not have Kawhi Leonard as a starter?
Got him?
I got him.
Perfect.
I thought the front court was easy.
Anybody here not have Giannis Antetokounmpo as a starter?
He's there.
I got him.
Perfect. Joel Embiid.
It's my center.
3 for 3.
Everyone's got Joel Embiid.
Because
Okay.
it's 3 front court, 2 back court.
I'm not sure where we're going from here.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like it's kind of obvious.
Okay. Give us your next all-star starter for the Eastern Conference, Eastern Conference.
Point guard, I have Kyrie. I feel like Kyrie has to be the guy at point.
Okay.
And then
Jason Ross. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Jason Ross?
I have Kyrie.
Okay.
Yep.
Who do you have?
Not Kyrie Irving.
Ooh, okay.
Did you trade Russell Westbrook to the East just so you could put him in as a starter?
I went Kemba Walker.
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, I have Kemba as well.
I love Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
So Kemba and Kyrie are your two
guards.
backcourt guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have Kyrie and Bradley Beal.
Oh, you went Bradley Beal.
I did.
Okay.
He's having a good year.
I maybe it's recency. I thought Victor Oladipo was a starter.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
after what happened yesterday, he's ultimately not going to start. I think I don't know, voting or whatever, in terms of deserving to be a starter, I thought Victor Oladipo. I mean, look at where the Pacers are. Not to be represented. He's been good enough to represent that team as an all-star starter. And he's the reason that team is the 3rd seed in the conference.
And if he'll probably get a nod and then replaced by someone, but
sure.
If they go into the All-Star break as the 3 seed, there's a good chance they won't have anybody then.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be the highest ranked team without an All-Star.
Yep. That is 100% accurate. So yeah, there was so you had Kemba and Kyrie as your
backcourt,
okay.
3 front court. We all had the same front court.
I didn't think you guys were going to have Kemba. I thought I might get some flack for that. Okay, so let's head to the West then. That was actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
This I think is where it's going to get a little bit more difficult. We all have James Harden, unfortunately. Correct?
Yep.
I do.
Okay, we all have James Harden.
Did you say unfortunately?
He did.
We all have Stephen Curry.
Yep, I do. So that's my backcourt.
I'm not really sure from here.
The front court's where the debate is to me, as far as starters.
Are we debating LeBron?
Because
I'm not starting LeBron.
Because of why?
That's
though?
why, because he's been injured?
Yeah.
I was hoping you would say that. That's why?
Yeah, he hasn't played since December.
Okay. You know how many games he's played compared to Steph?
Probably about the same. Steph missed a ton of games in the middle of the year
Why isn't that a conversation?
because he's healthy right now.
Okay. No, and I that's actually why. I mean, because I didn't realize that till I looked it up. I go, yeah, LeBron's missed too many games. And then I looked up Steph. Wow, it's a two game difference.
Okay, so here's can I tell you my 3 front court guys, and then you can pick who you're taking out to put LeBron over? I have
Okay.
Paul George,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Like Paul George's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't have to convince me. He's in my starting 5.
Mine
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you have LeBron over?
Do
then?
we have the same guy out? Do you have Kevin Durant in the starting lineup?
I do. It was really hard between those 3. Paul George was a definite to me.
Right, me too.
So then it was 2 spots for 3, and what Kyle said, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. That was the 3 I was picking for 2 spots.
And we both left out Anthony Davis.
I did.
Yep, me too. We have the same
Golly.
starting lineup in the Western Conference. I did not expect that at all. We have James Harden, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Paul George, LeBron James. Kyle has James Harden, Steph Curry, Paul George, Anthony Davis, and was it Kevin Durant?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. When's the break? The All-Star break?
Right after the deadline, so
like February
probably
8th?
Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
15th, 16th, 17th, somewhere around there.
There's about 8 games left for most teams.
Okay.
So there's a real world possibility LeBron doesn't play again before the All-Star break.
No, there's not. LeBron's playing February 2nd. Come on. LeBron James is playing February
probably.
2nd against the Golden State Warriors on
Probably.
a Saturday night at Oracle Arena.
Probably.
He's playing in that game.
Probably. But if he doesn't, is 34 games at the All-Star break enough to get him into the All-Star game?
If he doesn't, he's not going to play in the All-Star game. If he
Okay,
doesn't
but
play
we're
February
writing
2nd,
down our starters.
I understand that, but you're also hypothesizing into the future. You're saying if he doesn't play before then, but we can't have it both ways. If he doesn't play before the All-Star break, he's not going to play in the All-Star game.
Let's go to a universe where he says, "I'm not returning," but if I'm voted into the All-Star game, I'm going to be out there to.
Then he's going to be out there. Then he's
on the court for the tip-off.
Then he's a starter.
Okay, so 34 games is enough.
Yes.
Okay.
When you're LeBron James.
Okay, got it.
Which is interesting because right now at 41 games is Anthony Davis, but he's hurt, so I don't know. He might be back in a game or two. The one that
and his prognosis, by the way, keeps changing.
Right.
Originally, he was out like 3 to 4 weeks. Now he's out maybe 2 to 3 days.
Yeah,
You know he's averaging 29, 13, and 4.
Well, the group is incredible. What we're debating here. I mean, they're all all-stars. Now we're
Right,
picking the best
right.
of the 5. But the one that none of us even blinked at is Kawhi. Well, he's played 36 games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting to go to game total. So he's at 36, Steph's at 34, or Steph's at 36,
Yeah.
and LeBron's at 34 games. And AD's at 41 and may not play till the All-Star game. Who knows? The other one I really thought about was Jokic, but I didn't. He's having
As a starter, yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, no, he's a tier below. He'll be a reserve.
Yeah, he definitely will.
Yeah,
like
he'll be in the game.
those guys are going to make the All-Star team. Luka Doncic is going to make the All-Star team. Luka Doncic is probably going to take someone's spot.
Well, he has to be a starter. If he's not making the team.
Yeah, like I think his votes are so high, he's going to get in.
Well, and that's the thing. I just still don't understand. I get what the NBA says the breakdown is. As a vote getter, he's in. But then that's 50% of it. Then it's what players and coaches on that. On
but
the
it's what does the 50% like account for? Like if you barely crack the top 5 as an All-Star voter with 1 million votes versus Luka Doncic who has 6 million, is that weighted differently?
That's what I don't quite understand. I mean, I get that that's 50% of it, but what is the percentage
What is the
of
50
a coach
though? Yeah.
saying if no coaches vote for him and no players vote for him, is that enough to have someone surpass him?
But do coaches even vote when it comes to players like him? Because because coaches vote on the reserve. They don't have a vote on the starters.
Well, I
do
forget
they?
what the breakdown is. I thought of the starters, 25. There was another. I have to look this up again, but I know 50% of
You
fan
could look
vote-
it up, and it still wouldn't make sense to
Right.
us because we don't know what the 50% actually accounts for.
Yeah, on the
Are all
grading of
do
it.
all hashtag all votes matter?
They should.
Well, I'm being
Yeah.
serious. Like, is Luka's 6 million or whatever the number is weighted the same as someone who cracked the top 5 as 1 million?
Right. Well, and this is why, too, in the West, we've talked about how difficult, like when people early on, could De'Aaron Fox be an all-star? Could Buddy Hield? No, they just can't. We've already listed probably 6 to 7 that should start. If Rose and Doncic take spots, okay, now we're getting into Jokic, Lillard, Westbrook.
They're taking guys' spots. Yep.
There's no way.
I'm looking at some advanced numbers. And
Nobody likes advanced numbers
Kyle does.
except Kyle.
okay, never mind. I was just kidding. That's stupid.
What are your
thing to
advanced
bring up
numbers,
anyways.
Kyle?
If you dig into the numbers, Paul George is actually probably the guy you're leaving off the All-Star team, and we all had him as a lock.
That's insane. Paul
It's
George is
so-
not being
it's
left off the.
so-
That
no,
is-
I know,
that is
I
nuts.
know, but it's just ridiculous. Like Jason mentioned, it's ridiculous how good the West is that we're even debating this.
I think if DeMarcus was healthy, like he's a normal all-star, the Warriors used to get 4. They're getting just the 2.
Guys like Tobias Harris, who probably deserve a spot,
won't.
they're going to miss
Yeah.
it. Those guys are
Yeah.
going to miss it. We'll come back. Maybe Sam Amick of The Athletic can provide some clarity on this. We'll talk to him next.